Would anybody like to sing this bhajan? This is the same bhajan we sang Sharanagati yesterday. Very famous bhajan. Or else I would sing. Then we can read the translation. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jivedaya Kori Swaparshada Swaidhama Saha Avatari Atyanta Durlabha Prema Kori Baredan Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhagatera Pran Danya Atma Nivedana Guptritve Varana Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana Bhakti Anukula Matra Karira Svikar Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Vajanangikar Sharanga Sharanagati Hoi Bejahar Tahara Prathana Shule Shinanda Kumar Rupa Sanatana Pade Dante Trina Kuri Bhagati Vinoda Pode Duhu Pada Dhori Kandiya Kandiya Bole Amito Adhama Shikhaye Sharanagati Karo He Uttama Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Sharanagati ki jai. Anybody would like to read the translation?
I can read, Mataji.
Thank you, Minati. Please go ahead.
Out of compassion for fallen souls, Sri Krishna Chaitanya came to this world with his personal associates in divine abode to teach Sharanagati, the goal of surrender to the Almighty Godhead, and to freely distribute ecstatic love of God, which is ordinarily very difficult to obtain. This Sharanagati is the very life of the true devotee. The ways of Sharanagati are humility, dedication of the self, acceptance of the Lord, and as one's only maintainer, faith that Krishna will surely protect, execution of only those acts favorable to pure devotion, and renunciation of conduct and words to pure devotion. The youthful son of Nanda Maharaj, Sri Krishna, hears the prayers of anyone who takes a refuge in him by this sixfold practice. Bhakti Vinoda places a straw between his teeth, prostrates himself before the two Goswamis, Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana, and claps their lotus feet with his hands. I am certainly the lowest of men, he tells them weeping, but please make me the best of men by teaching me the ways of Sharanagati. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Minati. Hare Krishna. Isn't it beautiful? Very beautiful song.
And it was very well explained, especially the verse 3 and 4 were very well explained by Prabhuji yesterday. I thought that was awesome.
Yes, yes. If we could just remember those 6 things, our devotional life would be so much
Yes.
smoother. Yes.
Yeah. It was Devyam and then Atmanivednam, and then that Krishna is a supreme controller, and then we do maintainer, and then we do things favorable to bhakti and unfavorable to bhakti. We deject them. So I thought that was awesome. Really good.
Yes. All right. Yes, Minati, it was amazing. Thank you, everybody who came. And those who were not here, we can always, certainly there was a recording that would be shared. So you guys can hear that. Okay, we will start our Prabhupada Lilamrit from where we left yesterday. Anybody would like to do this service of reading Prabhupada Lilamrit today? Okay, I will start then. In one large room, a heavy A heaviest man with a great white beard and wearing flower garlands sat on several pillows. Many people stood staring at him. He reminded Achyutananda of Santa Claus. Swamiji, who is that? Achyutananda asked. Some yogi, Prabhupada replied indifferently. The same lecture hall had a large painting of Lord Shiva on the wall and was crowded with people, women in colored saris, and many of the men in bright turbans. Amid such a welter of rituals and worshippers, Achyutananda felt protected by Swamiji. They sat on the dais, and Sri Krishna Pandit introduced his friend Bhakti Vedanta Swami to the crowd. Srila Prabhupada spoke in Hindi for about an hour. Walking back to Chippiwada, Achyutananda wondered why Swamiji had gone to speak at a place with such hodgepodge worship. But without his asking, it occurred to him that Swamiji was willing to speak about Krishna anywhere to anyone. Hadn't he come to New York City? And what could be a more hodgepodge place than New York's Lower East Side? Sitting on the veranda outside his room, Prabhupada could see the huge domes of Jama Mosque in the early evening sky. One evening, as Prabhupada sat softly chanting japa, and as Achyutananda, who had not yet memorized the Gayatri mantra, sat nearby reading it to himself, a Hindu gentleman came and conversed with Prabhupada. Achyutananda soon finished the Gayatri mantra and sat listening to his spiritual master talk in Hindi to the unknown gentleman. Achyutananda would catch only a word here and there. Some mention of Ayurvedic medicine, addresses, Indian names, cities. They talk for hours, and Achyutananda wondered who this man was who could speak so long with Swamiji. When the man left, Achyutananda asked, Swamiji, was he your god brother? Prabhupada said, No. Is he a Swami? Prabhupada said, No. Is he one of your relatives? No. Well, who was he? He's my friend, Prabhupada answered emphatically. Sometimes Prabhupada's visitor would bring donations of clothes or fruits or even complete cooked meals in metal tiffins. One visitor, a middle aged woman who had heard Prabhupada speak at Gauri Shankara temple, came to Prabhupada's office in Chippiwada requesting initiation. Prabhupada spoke with her, agreed, and had Achyutananda prepare a small fire sacrifice. At her initiation, he gave her the name Mukunda Dasi. She came daily to clean Prabhupada's room, and when she was at this wooden peg sandals were broken, she bought him new ones. Chandrasekhar had known Prabhupada for several years and was supposed to have been his secretary, but he was a drunkard. Prabhupada suspected him of having stolen from his mailbox more than 2,000 rupees during the past 2 years. Prabhupada's Chippiwada address was listed in his magazines and books, and people had been sending money for books and back to Godhead subscriptions. Even in the past 2 months, Prabhupada's disciples had written that they were enclosing money in their letters, but Prabhupada never found any. One day he caught sight of Chandrasekhar in the building and asked him, Where is mailbox key? I believe you have it, Chandrasekhar replied. Or maybe Sri Krishna Pandit has it. Chandrasekhar was drunk. Swamiji, Achyutananda said angrily, Maybe we should take him, maybe we should make a police case. Prabhupada shook his head. No. Well, Achyutananda said, if he is not punished by law, then in his next birth, Krishna will punish him. That's true. Prabhupada agreed. Chandrasekhar looked fearfully from Prabhupada to his American disciple. Then there's only one thing to do, Achyutananda said. Shall I call police? No, said Prabhupada. I forgive him. Yet only a few days later, Prabhupada's record player disappeared and Prabhupada suspected the drunkard Chandrasekhar. Prabhupada brought Achyutananda with him to his bank, the Bank of Baroda, to exchange some American currency. As they were about to enter the door, the guard refused them entry, thinking they were sadhus came to beg. Prabhupada was angry. He spoke loudly in Hindi to the guard, an old man with a shotgun, a big strap of bullets, and a shabby semi official uniform. I have an account here, Prabhupada protested. Finally, the guard allowed them to enter. Prabhupada went straight to the manager and complained. Do you think, Prabhupada said, because I am a sadhu, I am to be regarded as a beggar? Prabhupada told the men of his organization in America and his account in Bank of Baroda. The manager apologized and reprimanded the guard. One day, Prabhupada said Achyutananda to a certain restaurant, sent Achyutananda to a certain restaurant. If you want to see varieties of Indian food, Prabhupada said, tell the man you want 10 rupees of sweets and 10 rupees of salty preparations. That is called mishti and namkeen. And just see the varieties. Achyutananda was sick and couldn't imagine eating a lot of sweets, but he stopped by the restaurant and looked. When he returned to the temple at Chippiwada, he told Prabhupada that he had seen the food, although he couldn't eat it. Yes, but just see the varieties, Prabhupada concluded, and he explained how Krishna consciousness was personal and full of varieties, not dry. Ano- Another American disciple joined Prabhupada, Ramanuja, from Haight Ashbury. He had been initiated just before Swamiji had left San Francisco, and he sported a full black beard. Prabhupada didn't like the beard. Cautiously and indirectly, he mentioned it, but Ramanuja's beard stayed. Ramanuja carried a book about Tibetan Buddhism and he didn't seem fixed in Krishna consciousness philosophy. But here he was, one of the loser, sentimental San Francisco devotees, ready for Indian adventures with Swamiji. Srila Prabhupada visited the wealthy Delhi industrialist Mr. Sheth Dalmia to discuss plans for printing some of his books in India. Mr. Dalmia received him well and but gave only vague promises of help. Prabhupada also met with Hitsaran Sharma, Mr. Dalmia's secretary, who worked closely with Hanuman Prasad Poddar of the popular religious publishing company Gita Press. Srila Prabhupada was already acquainted with all three gentlemen since they had all donated towards his first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada wanted Gita Press to publish his Gita Upanishad and Srimad Bhagavatam. Hit Saran Sharma showed him an illustrated Gita in Hindi poetry that he had recently published. But my Gita, my Bhagavatam, said Srila Prabhupada, appearing disgusted, is the description of God. It is the description of Krishna. Mr. Sharma said he didn't see how Gita Press could print Prabhupada's voluminous writings. Nevertheless, Prabhupada still considered privately printing Gitopanishad with Mr. Sharma as his agent. On October 11, Prabhupada wrote to Brahmananda, we must have our books printed. We have wasted much time in the matter of editing and finding out a suitable publisher. When I was alone, there was 3 volumes published, but during the last 2 years, I could not publish a single volume more. It is a great defeat. If I have one or two sincere souls like you, and if we can make more publications, then our mission will be a great success. I am prepared to sit down underneath a tree with one sincere soul, and in such activity, I shall be freed of all diseases. Devotees from America were regularly writing Swamiji, anxious to see him back in good health. But he didn't want to leave India, he explained, until he personally saw that the printing of his Gitopanishad was underway. Printing Gitopanishad and obtaining approval for permanent residency in the US were the 2 short term goals he wished to achieve before returning. But he thought often of his return to America. As you are all feeling my separation similarly, I'm also anxious to return as soon as possible. I think I am fit to go back to your country at present, and as scheduled previously, I'm sure by the end of October. Must be fit to return. But before this, there are many things to be done. I am not yet assured of permanent visa. The best thing will be that from each center an invitation should be sent at my that my presence is urgently required. Presently, I am very much anxious to begin printing here in if Macmillan Company does not take up the work. Please therefore let me know yes or no from Macmillan. If he is not serious, then immediately send the manuscripts finished and on not to be following address. Pundit Harisharan Sharma, son of Dalmia Enterprises, Cynthia House, New Delhi. After dispatching, let me know and I shall do the needful.
Meenakshi Mataji, you want me to take over from here? I'm sure you must be tired from yesterday.
Sure, Minty. Thank you.
Thank you. Indian friends who visited Prabhupada's room listened eagerly as he told them about America, the millions of cars and the superhighways, and thousands of young people rejecting their father's wealth. But Prabhupada's visitors weren't fully able to understand his visit to America. Not that they were too simple to understand, and not just that they had never traveled in the West. Prabhupada's experience in America consisted of intimate spiritual relationships with his disciples. How could an outsider understand the dynamics of his temples and his disciples in the West? How could anyone accept Prabhupada and his disciples understand these things? My mind is always with you. Practically, your country is my home now. India is a foreign country for me. The reason is that my spiritual family is there and my material relationships are in India. Therefore, factually, where my spiritual family exists, there is my home. Srila Prabhupada's vision of a worldwide society of devotees preaching in temples and publishing books, a vision he had even before he had gone to America, was now becoming manifest, but it was dependent on him. In his absence, his disciples were sustained only by carrying out his orders and receiving his letters. When Dayananda and Nandarani had gone from the San Francisco temple to start a temple in Los Angeles, it had been Swamiji's instruction that had sustained and guided them. Wherever there is a new branch of our society for Krishna consciousness, I become very happy. And my blessings and heart and soul are with you. On receipt of Swamiji's letter, they knew they had done the right thing. No matter that husband and wife sometimes quarreled and that there wasn't enough money, the main thing was that Swamiji was pleased. From Boston, Satyaswarupa wrote that he and the other devotees there were moving from an apartment to a rented storefront near Boston University. The first time Satsvarupa entered the new storefront, he found on the floor an aerogram from Swamiji dated October 6th from Delhi. I can understand that you have secured a very nice place in Boston, and there is a very good possibility of pushing our movement amongst the student community there. Our movement is certainly very much appealing to the younger section of your country, and if we are successful in the matter of attracting the student community in your country, certainly this movement will scatter all over the world and fulfill the foretelling of Lord Chaitanya that in every village and every town of the world the Lord will be famous for his glorious Sankirtana movement. Please strive for this with your heart and soul, and your life will be successful mission. The letter was as good as Swamiji coming personally to open the storefront and begin the preaching. It gave Satswarupa full direction and inspiration, and it was personal. In that same letter, Prabhupada had written, I can always I am always aspiring after returning to your care and overload with your typewriting task. I hope we shall very soon meet again and help each other in the matter of discharging Krishna consciousness engagements. I am now 90% all right, and I think I can return safely. This typewriting work is done by me. For 2 days, I am alone and doing everything myself as experiment. This proves that I am now well. Please offer my blessings to all the boys and girls there. In the New Mexico, Subala was trying to arrange public speaking arrangements for Prabhupada's return, and Prabhupada was encouraging him. If you think I can be on television by the first week in December, then you can arrange for it because I must be in your country by the middle of November. Srila Prabhupada wrote to Janardana in Montreal, answering his philosophical doubts, encouraging him to be patient with his spiritually reluctant wife. And to Raya Rama, who was editing Back to Godhead magazine in New York, he gave another kind of thoughtful assurance. I'm very happy that since BTG is entrusted to you, the things are improving. This means that Krishna is giving you more and more facilities. Krishna is such a nice boss that he gives more facilities and improvement to sincere servant. On October 9th, the day Prabhupada started for Calcutta, he left behind a different kind of letter for Sri Krishna Pandit. Prabhupada had been negotiating with Sri Krishna Pandit to purchase the Chippiwada temple for ISKCON, or at least to rent a single room through a formal contract. Prabhupada wanted the room as a Delhi headquarters for printing his books. On the day of his departure, however, Sri Krishna Pandit was unavailable, and Prabhupada left him a short handwritten note. If you are not settling anything with the room, then I may come back to Delhi. I may not come back to Delhi anymore. I will go to USA directly from Calcutta via the Pacific route for which Sri Dalmia Seth had already promised for the ticket. End of chapter 27. We move on to chapter 28. India Revisited Part 2. Prabhupada's train, the Kalka mail, pulled into the Delhi station. Prabhupada and his two disciples had tickets with reserved seat numbers but no car number. So while Prabhupada waited for the baggage, Achyutananda and Ramanuja ran from one end of the train to the other looking for their car. After they had found their seats and boarded, Achyutananda untied Prabhupada's bedding and spread it open on the upper tier. Prabhupada climbed the little ladder, sat comfortably on his cotton stuffed quilt, and opened his Sanskrit Srimad Bhagavatam, while Achyutananda and Ramanuja took their seats. It would take around 24 hours to reach Calcutta. Near the end of the journey, a group of educated Bengali gentlemen struck up a philosophical conversation with the Swami. We do not worship any form, said one, speaking fluent English in a loud, deep voice. We have a marble Omkara that we worship, and we sit and pray to that. That is also a form, said Prabhupada. He was reluctant to attack their philosophical position directly. We practice Karma Yoga, the gentleman went on, not heeding Prabhupada's previous point. Because in Karma Yoga, you can stay within your position. But Karma Yoga is not full surrender of the soul, said Prabhupada. One must come to the stage of bhakti. Oh no, the man protested. Emotionalism is very harmful, Karma Yoga. Prabhupada exploded. Karma Yoga is for the fools. Silence. Another man, not with the Bengalis, but seated beside them, spoke up. Obviously, Swamiji is a learned scholar. He said you should not argue like that. The Bengali that Prabhupada had shouted at got up and moved to another seat. Later he came back. Are you insulted? Prabhupada asked him. No, 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 he replied. But I have never heard anyone say that about the teachings of the Gita. The Bengalis then talked about Achyutananda, lighting their cigarettes and smoking freely before him, although they had not dared to do so before Prabhupada. It wasn't proper to smoke in front of a sadhu. Bengalis, Achyutananda told them, citing one of the Prabhupada's examples, were very sorry that East Pakistan had been cut off from the rest of the Bengal. But Krishna consciousness could elevate people to international, universal consciousness. Then there wouldn't be any such division. The Bengalis appreciated Achyutananda's remark, though they continued to blow smoke in his face as the train rattled over the last mile to Calcutta. Prabhupada was greeted at Calcutta's Howrah station by relatives, mostly from his sister's family, and by devotees of the Goswami Mutt. About 50 people were on hand. They offered Prabhupada flower garlands and sandalwood paste and then escorted him and his disciples into a car. Achyutananda and Ramanuja noticed that although Swamiji's sister was shorter and more rotund than Prabhupada, her facial features were strikingly similar. Her name was Bhavatarini, but Prabhupada told them to call her Pishima, aunt. As Prabhupada rode through the streets, he saw many images of Goddess Kali, 10 armed riding a lion. Calcutta was observing the biggest religious celebration in Bengal, Kali Puja. a month of festivities in honor of the goddess Kali. Throughout the city, brass bands and radio music blared, and there were decorative light stages and tents. When Prabhupada arrived at the Pishima's house in the South Calcutta, his relatives seated him and performed an arti ceremony in his honor, reverently offering him the traditional items incense, a flaming lamp, and flowers. They also bathed his feet. He sat smilingly within the crowded room of relatives, who were proud of his having journeyed to America on behalf of Lord Krishna. As Prabhupada's family members sang Hare Krishna Kirtana, from outside the room the ladies of the house began singing a high, shrill whooping sound. Achyutananda and Ramanuja were startled. Pishima had prepared a large feast, much of it cooked in mustard seed oil, for the homecoming celebration. And Prabhupada satisfied her by honoring the prasadam, even though he wasn't feeling well and was tired from the train ride. Soon after the festivities, Prabhupada and his disciples retired. Again, his health wavered. This time, because of his sister's heavy cooking, he felt a strain on his stomach. He sent for an Ayurvedic doctor who taught Achyutananda how to do a very gentle massage to help circulation and restricted Prabhupada from sweets. As Prabhupada recovered, he began regularly lecturing in his room during the evening. Although he spoke in English for his disciples, the room would soon fill to capacity with relatives and friends. There were generally disturbances from outside due to the noises of Kali Puja. Nearby Pishima's house was a large tent, a center for evening street parties, which included a sweet counter, fireworks, an excessively loud public address system, then incorogulously blared Julie Andrews singing songs from the sound of music.
I think
One
we can
evening,
stop here, no? I
oh,
mean,
yes, thank you.
yeah. Would you like to share maybe anything from today?
Uh, yes, from chapter 27, the one thing that is staying with me is that India had become a material uh, connection for him, and America had become more spiritual, and that's what the home now, because wherever he felt spiritually connected, he said, wherever you are, that's where your Vrindavan and your spiritual home is. So um, I can I can't relate because I'm not in that same mode of thing, but coming to ISKCON and being with the ISKCON family, I feel like this is my family. So somewhere along the lines, I think we all are spiritually connected and we are all in each other's life for a reason. Krishna has brought us together. So I really like that part. Thank you.
Thank you for this beautiful sharing. Yes, this is our family now. We always call it Prabhupada's family. We are all away from our families, from India, but a lot of us don't feel like that after getting connected with the devotees here with Prabhupada's family. So definitely, we can feel that this relationship, which is built on the basis of Krishna, going back to Krishna, going back to that same home, we all feel that we are relatives. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, I've been in Cincinnati for 30 years and, I've had material family. I pretty much know a lot of people here, but the connection I have with everyone here, all of you, is it's at completely different level. So thank you for having me. Thank you for including me in your lives, and thank you for guiding me and being my spiritual gurus, all of you. I learn from all of you every single day. So my gratitude. Thank you.
we learn from each other and from Srila Prabhupada's book, and a lot of devotees visiting us. Senior devotees, we learn so much from them. We were very fortunate to host Radhakant Prabhu and do the program last night, and we learned so much. Whenever they visit, they teach us small things they observe and they teach. So it is really wonderful to have association. When we are very very fortunate, Jai Prabhu very beautifully try sincerely to bring so many senior devotees to our congregation, and we hear from so many devotees. That is a true blessing. So, yeah, anybody else would like to share anything from today's reading or otherwise? I hope
Hare Krishna
everybody.
Mataji, just chiming in for a second.
Yes,
Sorry.
Prabhu.
Just to echo Mataji's point, I just want to share a verse that sort of talk about the same thing. I'll put it in the chat here so you can click on it. And if you can share it, we can read it. That's one verse. So you can see these things are not just whimsical. It happens for a reason.
Prabhu, would you like to read the verse in the translation?
Sure, Mataji. We'll read it here. All right, actually, if somebody read this one, there's another verse I want to pull up too, so I can find that
Sure.
and I'll put it there and then
Sure, Prabhu.
read
I
it.
can try. भूतानाम् इह संवासः प्रपन्नम् एव सुवर्ते दैवेन करता नीतानाम् उन्नीतानां स्वकर्मभिः. Translation: My dear mother, in a restaurant or a place of drinking cold water, many travelers are brought together, and after drinking water, they continue to their respective destinations. Similarly, living entities join together in a family, and later, as a result of their own actions, they are led apart to their destinations. Yes.
And the other verse as well too that I just put there.
Chat. Would you like to read, Prabhu? Or shall I read?
Sure. Naikata priya samavasaha sudaracheta karamaya nayam ogena vayu hayamananayamanam valvayanam shratatasya yattaha. Many planks and sticks, unable to stay together, are carried away by the force of river waves. Similarly, although we are intimately related with friends and family members, we're unable to stay together because of our various paths indeed and ways. So I just heard this point Mataji talks. I just
Mhm.
remind me of these two verses that Krishna ultimately have a destination for all of us. That we come across so many people, um, but he has a way of bringing us and pulling us apart essentially. So being in part of a spiritual family, this is this ultimate goal because in the spiritual world, this is what our goal like to be. There's no I do this, you do this. Everything is done for Krishna's pleasure. So the first verse actually was spoken by Hiranyakashipu to his mother when his brother died, and this one is spoke by Vasudeva, yeah, when in the 10th chapter there. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada, all of us are come together for a reason. There's no chance. That's what the whole thing is. It's for a reason. So that's what I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing beautiful verses. Yes. The Shastra is the proof, what we were just discussing, you know.
Yes.
Devotees always like to talk with Shastras so that, you know, it is the stamp that whatever we are trying to understand and saying, it is mentioned in Shastra, Guru, Shastra, and um, Sadhu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
is yeah, this is the importance. As I like the point Prabhupada said yesterday, the importance of reading every day as well in association. So nice Sangha. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, all right then. Anybody like to share anything? Or we can end up here. All right then. We'll do Vaishnav Pranam prayers and end our call today. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah anantakoti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit ki jai. Koti Koti Pranam. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranams.
Very nice
Hare
program.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That one pranam.
Dandvat Pranam.